Hello, hello, friends. It is quarterly tier tray time. If you're hopping on, say hi. Even if you aren't part of the quarterly tier tray box, I'd still like to talk with you. You don't have to be part of the quarterly tier tray box. This could also just be for any of my DIYers or anybody that likes to watch people paint or put stuff together. But this is specifically for my quarterly tiered tray box people. So this month's box, we are going to put it together, paint a few pieces, and then I'm going to stage it for you to give you some ideas, inspiration, and whatnot for your own tray. For those of you that don't know, our quarterly tiered tray box is, I believe it's 4 times a year, March, June, September, and December. So you get a tiered tray each of those months. If this is something that you are interested in, it is on our website under subscription boxes, and then there's a monthly box and a quarterly box. This is the quarterly one. So there's that information there. Also, if you are watching this on the replay, if you put hashtag replay, this just helps to keep it up so that other people can see it, because Facebook's algorithms are not very friendly right now. It's hard to get your stuff seen, so any help is greatly appreciated. Okay, also, one more thing before we get started. For those of you, I've had a few people tell me that it does not notify them when I go live. So if you are seeing this video or you're watching the replay of this video, if you go to the 3 dots at the top of your screen, it will give you an option to notify you when I go live. So that's just a good way to, it'll send you a little thing once I go live, just because I've had people say that they never see it. Okay. Some of these pieces are already painted because I love my gold spray paint better than I love my gold paint, even though I am going to use some gold paint for pieces that I can't spray. And I do use this, and it works okay, but I just love my gold spray paint. So, and my white. So I only have a few pieces here to paint, and then the other ones are just going to be adding like little details to. And I figured it would make it a little quicker too, because we also got to display this thing as well and put it together, so I don't want to have y'all be here all night long. So what I'm painting now is the easels, and I am just using my glaze / stain. If you're joining me, say hi. Also, if you have any questions or anything like that, I want to make sure I'm live in the right spot, because I'm horrible at making sure I'm live in the right spot. Okay. If you have any questions or anything that you want to learn or know, now is the time. So I will have my little messages pulled up. Hey, you remembered, Amanda. Yay. Hope you had a good Christmas. I feel like the Grinch this year, because I'm like I just feel like I enjoyed it while it was here, but I'm just happy that it's over. I'm just not in the spirit this year. As my kids get older, it's not as fun. Okay, so we've glazed each side of those. Glaze or stain, or you could use watered down paint with a wet wipe. That works too. It's a New Year's set for those of you that do not know that. This piece here, I'm going to hand paint because it's like 2 different colors. I'm going to do white here and gold here, because I believe that the letters that go on top of here are black. So I'm going to do white, and then that's the only pieces that we got to paint completely. The other pieces, we're going to add some detail to. So I'm going to go ahead and get a coat of white. So whenever you paint with white, if it's not spray paint, it takes usually almost always a few coats. So I use house paint that's white, because we go through so much of it, and I just put it in a bottle. And it's better than most, but it still takes several coats. So I'm going to put white on the bottom. And then I'm going to go up top with my gold, and I'm going to try to blend it. So the key to blending with a sponge is less paint is more. So what I'll do is I get almost all my white off, And I'm going to set it aside. I'm going to put a little bit of gold, and again, this is the gold I use. I feel like this is the best I've found yet, but gold and silver can be really hard. It's always wants to be translucent, so it's hard to find a good, and this is the best one I've been able to find. That's why I always use my gold spray paint, because I love it so much better. Okay, so then I'm going to start at the top with the gold, and I'm going to work my way down to the white, but I want less paint, so I'm going to keep dabbing over the, I'll show you up a little closer. It's hard to paint and talk at the same time. But take my gold sponge. I'm going to dab all the way down to the line, and then I'm going to go back with my white sponge that has barely any paint on it, and I'm going to dab off, and I'm just going to run it up into the gold, and it gives it a really blended look. And then I'm going to put black words over that, where those etch marks are, so you aren't going to really be able to tell, but see how that white blends into the gold? And that's just with a sponge. Less paint is more when you're blending, and there's a little bit of gold in that, or glitter in that paint. In the gold. I don't know if you see that, but okay, so we're going to set that aside because that's going to get letters on top of it. Okay, so this is the piece I was most excited about. So see those little etching marks? Obviously there's words that are going to go on top of the word part, but those little circles, now I don't know if this is going to work or not, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to take my gold paint, and then I'm going to take a flat, let me find a good one. A flat, they call them stencil brushes. This one's more flat than the other, but these flat, this one's kind of a little bit rounded, but either way, same thing. Stencil brush, and I'm going to try, I always go like this before I use them because the bristles can get so stiff on these little stencil brushes. Dip it in the gold. Now this is black, and I'm hoping this gold shows up on top of the black. And then once you dab in the gold, dab off, because you don't want a lot of paint. Less is more. And then just make a little circle to where it kind of looks like a firework. And it is working. Hold on, let me do a few more and then I'll show you guys. Start in the center, and then just slowly work your way out. It might be a little bit more vivid if you let it dry and then put a second coat on it. I think I need to shake my gold. It's kind of like watery looking. I'm going to try different little dabble. Okay, dab off. Start in the center and just work your way out in a circle. And then it'll give it that like firework look. I think it would be pretty once you put words on top of it. Okay, hold on, I'll show you just a second. And you could do a second coat if you wanted to. But see how that gives it a cute little fireworky look to it. Hi, Paula. So I think I'm gonna let that dry and then go back just to make it more bright, because that gold again is translucent. If you get somewhere you don't want it, a wet wipe is your best friend. Okay, so I'm gonna, I don't know if I should do those little stars or not. I think I'm just gonna see how that looks, and then if I need to go back and do the little stars, I can. But it's really cute. It looks like little fireworks. I think the black makes it pop. I was a little leery at first, but I think it'll be cute. Okay, next piece. There's a lot, so you could get really super detailed on this set if you wanted to. It just all depends on what you're willing to do. These two little champagne glasses, they are white, but the little bubbles at the top, I'm going to paint those in with gold. But I'm going to use the back end of my brush. It makes perfect little circles. Need to get some brush. Yes. I actually, when Amanda, when I use those brushes, we use them, mostly the reason I have them is for fake snow. So if you dip it in the white and then you go like this with your finger on those flat brushes, it makes like perfect snow. So that's what we use them for. Or if like today we had a snowman door hanger that was in order. You dip this in white on the flat, and then it puts a little snow on its brim. It's just really good for making it actually look like snow. So that's what we use those for. So they're good for other things than just that. Okay, use the back of the brush for the bubbles. It filled them in nicely. That way you don't have to try to make a perfect circle. Yes, the splatter. It's perfect for that. Okay, this piece is the background of the Happy New Year, and I'm going to attempt to add some silver to this, but my silver is just not that great. Again, like this Folk Art Metallic is the best option I've seen in the silver and gold, but it's still not that great. So I'm going to do a couple things on here and see if it actually shows up, to see if it's worth. I'll probably do the stars first. And really you could probably use the back of the brush for this too, but I'm just using a small, like detail brush. But that's what the silver shows up. So I'm going to do all the stars silver. And if you really want to get super detailed, you could do these lines silver and then just put the words on top of it. But, hi Stephanie. I'm just gonna think I do the stars right now. Just because, I mean, you could be here all day painting these lines if you wanted to, but I think the stars will be enough to add a little cuteness to it. Hope y'all had a good Christmas. Any New Year's plans? I know most of us are not into the New Year's plans anymore. We'd much rather be at home, or at least I would. I think we're going to go to a Cyclones game, take our kids to a Cyclones game, and then still get home in time for the ball to drop. It's usually what we do. All right. There's all the stars painted silver. It gets a frame and words on top. So I think between the words and the frame, I think the stars are going to be enough. So there's also this little party hat. So the background of it is white. And again, even if you're spraying it white or you're painting it white, it's going to take a couple coats. But whenever I have detail on top, I always do white as a background and then paint over top of the white. I gotta get a drink. I'm really thirsty today. Okay. Let's see. So I think the top of this hat is gold. It has a little top layer that sits on top. The little piece here. So I think I'm gonna take the back of my brush and add some gold dots. Probably for the little ones since the top is already gold. And then go back with some black and then silver too, and bring in all the colors on the little hat. Just kind of spread it out. And again, I paint with the back of my paintbrush when I have little dots like this because it just allows me to have more control over where I want the paint to go. Even if it takes a couple dips. Alright, I think that's it for the black. Wipe this off with a wet wipe, and then I'm going to add some silver. And then while I have it, I'm just going to go ahead and glue the top of it on. And tomorrow I will share a picture of this on the page so that you can obviously see it in more detail for those of you that have your own to paint or display. I'm going to glue that on there, and then that's what that's going to look like. It's kind of hard to see on the screen. Okay, last little... There's this piece here that's like a countdown. The background's black, and we're going to do that same gold with the flat stencil brush as we did on on this piece, but it gets a ball in the middle, the ball that drops, so we really just want to worry about the exterior of the circle and not so much the center, because it's going to be a waste of our time and paint. So I would just start, there's little edge lines, and I would just start with where the edge lines go, and then just make a circle. And really you could even go all the way out with the lines. You just want it to show up on the outside of the ball dropping. Just gives it a little pizzazz. Okay. You don't have to worry about it being a perfect circle, because again, this little ball is gonna sit on top of it. And the numbers get put on there too. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue this on here so you can see what it looks like with the gold on the background. Make sure I got it right. Hard to see. Boom. The angle in the lighting is horrible. It shows a little bit more in person than what you can see on here, but, and this ball here is silver, not white. And then it gets a gold number 1 in the center. And then all the numbers are gold, the 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So let me get those, and then we're going to just go ahead and finish this piece. Okay. 10 goes first, and for those of you that are not part of our box, it comes with the glue. It comes with everything that you need minus the paint, because I like for people to be able to express their own style and match their own home, so I don't include the paint, but both the monthly box and the quarterly box have everything you need, including the glue minus the paint, which most people have accumulated their own little stash of paint at this point. Okay. 6. These little gold numbers pop on this black background. Let's see. 3 and 2. And for those of you that don't know, this glue that does not take very much. A little dot will do you a long way. But isn't that cute? I wish you could see the little gold around the edge a little better than what it shows here. But that's cute. Okay, so that piece is done. Our easels are done. We're going to go back to this piece now and add our... This is probably the most tedious piece. These little letters are tiny. But it just says Happy New Year in black. I'll show you as soon as I get them glued down. It's hard not to glue your fingers sometimes. Let's see. Happy. And it gives you little edge lines so you don't have to worry about trying to line it up on your own. And so when you go to pull out this set next year, you can still use the whole set, you just won't be able to use this one piece next year. This was just a little bonus piece for this year, but next year the set you can still use, just not this piece. New. And this glue does not take very long to dry. It adheres very quickly, which is why I love it. It's a blessing and a curse. All right. Make sure all these pieces are down. Okay, so here's this piece. It says Happy New Year. I know it's backwards for you guys, but there's that piece. So we got that done. We'll go ahead and do this Let's Celebrate. So this one gets white words, so these are really going to pop on this black background. This would be cute to add some like confetti to the tray too. That would be cute. Or, so the box came with little celebration blower thingies to put on there, and it came with greenery, and it came with little disco balls to really get the full New Year's effect. Okay, so I think this belongs, oh, let me look. Yeah, right here. So this little piece here is going to hang off just a tad, so you won't need to put glue on the very tip top because it's going to hang off. Make sure it's down before I hold it up. But isn't that cute? Let's celebrate. I like that piece. It's probably my favorite piece so far. I think I'm gonna take the back of my brush and add a few little gold dots, because if you look, the little etching is there for the little gold dots, and I just think it would add a little something extra. Okay, there's that. Here's it with the dots. Makes it feel a little bit more celebratory to me. Okay, the Happy New Year piece. So it gets a gold frame, and then it gets black words. Go ahead, don't get your, if your silver stars are a little wet, don't get them. Okay, hold that there, and then happy. Now that I've glued mine down, I think it'd be cute if you took gold and did little gold lines in the center, because even though the frame's gold, it feels like it needs more gold. You'll see what I'm talking about. So if you're wanting to be extra and do these lines, I recommend doing them gold. See what I mean? See how gold is on the edge, but it looks like it needs it in the center or something. So if you're feeling really extra, that would be really cute. Okay, next piece. This piece says cheers, the little bubbly, and that's where the wine glasses are gonna go. So the word cheers is black. We're gonna glue that on first. I like all the little bubbles in the back of the round of this. And then you're gonna take your glasses, and they're gonna go outwards. So you'll see, because the little H hangs down and it has to go on the outside of it. So boom and boom. And then the little champagne pieces are gold, and they'll get dropped in the glasses. Okay, here's this piece. Cheers. So that's cute. You could actually add like white to the little bubbles there too. Make sure I'm not forgetting anything on this piece. No. Okay. There's that piece. We only got a banner left and a champagne bottle. And then we can assemble. Okay, this celebrate piece, or this little, you know, little blower thing, I think the only thing I'm going to do, and this is up to you, as much detail as you want to add to it or not, but I think I'm just going to put a little bit of white on the thing, but my paint marker's not working very good. I need a new one. I think I'm just going to add a little bit of white to the, I'll show you the little circular piece, and then leave it alone. If you wanted to, it would be cute too if you could get small enough brush to fill in the celebrate with black, but some things are better left alone in my opinion. So there's that piece. That piece is simple. A little white paint marker. Now we got the champagne piece. The whole thing, so this little piece gets glued onto the back of the top. So I'll show you in just a minute. I think I'm going to add the little pieces first. There's like a little, let me find a smaller brush. There's some little detail on here that I think I'm going to add black to, just to make them stand out. But really the set is pretty easy. You're just using the same 4 colors over and over. Let me fill these in and I'll show you what I'm doing. Really, I probably should have done these gold. Considering they're probably splashes of champagne, but I just think it would stand out better if they were black. So this is the little cork. It's gold, it gets glued on there. And then you take this and you glue this little piece on the top there. Probably gonna put the glue on the white piece because I don't know where it ends. You're probably gonna have to hold that there for a minute because it's way bigger than the piece. But then it goes like that. Now if you wanted to add more detail here and do your own thing there, then again, go for it. Really the label would probably be cute, painted white. But it just depends on how much detail you want to put into it. Okay, last piece and then we're gonna set this puppy up. Let me get a drink of water, my throat is so dry. Okay. This, the pieces are black up to the banner, so you want to lay them out, and then 3 gold, 3 silver little fireworks that go on the banner. So pretty simple. You're just gonna go every other one. Silver, or gold, silver, gold, silver. Actually, now that I think about this, Amanda, are you still on here? Did I send jute for these banners? I can't remember. It just dawned on me. Sometimes it's hard to remember all the things. Did I send jute with this, Amanda? If you're still on here. I hope I did. Pretty sure I did. Christmas time was a blur. There's so much happening. I just hope that I remembered it. Alright. So you should have jute, which I think I did. Amanda, did I? Can't remember. Anybody else that has this box that's on here, did I send jute? Okay. These holes are tiny. So sometimes I have to really twist them in there to get them in there. Yes, I think you did. Okay. Whew. Just like when I was putting this together, I just like panicked a little. Because I feel like I forgot it, but. Alright, sometimes you just gotta start over. That piece is twist, twist. These little banners can be so hard sometimes. Those holes are. Okay. So you got 5 of these. Obviously, if it's not your set, you don't have to do that. I always just find it easier when I'm working on something that I'm not going to sell to go like that. Just helps. Sometimes you got to cut it off and start over. Because it gets frayed. Okay. There is that. One more. Okay. Now, when I set this up, I'm going to show you 2 different ways just because I'm really digging the bench style tray right now. I don't know why, I just like it. I mean, most of us have a traditional tray, so I'm going to show you that way as well, but I just like it. The bench is something different. Okay, make sure the banner's even. Yes, it's in the bag with all the goodies. Okay, good. See, I do have it together. Sometimes I forget stuff. Okay, so we got all the pieces, and now, so again, the box comes with, I'm gonna do the traditional way first. That's what most of us have. I'm just using a white one. You can use whatever. I have jute in my mouth. Okay. For those of you that are watching for the first time, I always use this Gorilla mounting putty. It's just like a little putty that you rip off into little pieces, and it just helps keep the pieces so they stay. It just makes it a lot easier, especially on the banner pieces. And it comes off easily without tearing up your pieces, so no damage done when you go to take it off and change to a different set. So I really like it. You can get it pretty much anywhere. Walmart, Home Depot, Amazon, any hardware store. Bear with me because this is really hard to do backwards. Have a little grace. Most of us. Okay, so this allows you to just push the banner pieces right on there. And then look, it stays without even tying it. You don't have to worry about them slouching down and falling, and this is really helpful. Like when I display trays in my trailer, it keeps the pieces set there all day, so I don't have to mess with them falling down. Okay, so there's the banner. I'm gonna go with this. I gotta make sure my tall pieces can fit. Okay, so I'm gonna go with this piece over here. And again, putty is great for these too, because you only get one set of easels most of the time, so this just makes it way easy. Okay, there's that piece. Put that towards the middle. You're going to take your set of easels. They go right like that. Put your circle. I almost always use my easels for the circle piece because obviously it's the hardest to get to stay put. And again, I can't see that because it's backwards. So you guys are going to have to get the point. Okay, so there's that top piece. The bottom, let's see, this tall piece is going to go, so see how the tall piece is over here? You're going to put you want to go on the other side. This helps keep it balanced. I always try to balance my pieces on my tray to where one side doesn't look heavy. Okay, so we're going the opposite side. Put a little putty on the bottom, stays beautiful. Okay, same thing. Here's the other New Year's piece. Dump a little putty on the bottom. Doesn't take much either. I usually put one piece on the left, one piece on the right, and then angle that in. There's that. I'm going to put this little champagne tall piece in the center. I'm going to turn this around for just a second, guys, because it's really hard to see what I'm doing here. So I'm going to move my pieces forward so you can actually see them. I didn't realize how far back I had them. Move your pieces forward. Put my little champagne, and I think I'm going to take my little piece. Okay, so it came with greenery. So there's that. It came with greenery. So it usually comes in bigger pieces. I do not have the same greenery that was in the box because I gave you guys all that I had. So same, it's a similar color. This is the color of what you got. This is the color of what I'm using because it's just what I have. I gave you guys all of what I had besides that one piece. So I gave it in pretty long strips. You can use it in a big piece like this, or you can cut it down with scissors or snips and use it smaller. I think I'm going to use that big piece just like that. And then I'm going to take this little megaphone thingy and I'm going to tuck it in Hold on a second, I'm gonna turn this around. It's hard to see when I'm going backwards. But I'm gonna set it right on top of that greenery. Maneuvering my pieces a little. Sometimes you gotta take some minutes to get it just right. So I'm gonna take that piece. It's hard to see on this thing, but it's tucked right on top of that greenery. This piece here, I'm probably just gonna attach right here with a little putty in the center. And then we're gonna use the rest of our greenery in the bottom back just to make it look full. Greenery always makes your tiered tray look so much fuller, and it really doesn't take a whole lot. Like, you can find a little thing of greenery from any craft store, and you can cut it apart. I cut all my greenery apart, so a little goes a long way. Okay, so I'm going to take my next greenery. You should have gotten 3, so I'll put 1 on that side and 1 on that side. Probably sticking out a little much. Hold on. There's that one. And then if you cut yours apart and make a little smaller piece, I'd probably put a little smaller piece in the front here. And then, turn this back around. And then you have, I cannot remember again how many disco balls I sent either. So, a couple things you can do with the disco ball. If you have a tray that's tall, you could always hang one from here. That would be cute. Like, hang it from the center pole, which I technically could still do from here too, in a loop. So that would be something you could do. I don't know if that string is long enough. You could always take a piece of clear tape maybe and tape it on there. I don't know. You can either hang it like that from the center, or you can just let it sit. I don't know how many I think 2. Okay. So I think I just put random sizes in each box. But you could set one up here. Actually, I think I'm going to use a smaller one to sit up here. And be careful, because these little squares will come off. If they come off, just put that part to the back where you can't see it. Okay, there's that one. And then I'm only going to use 2 because I want to try to use what was in the box. And of course, I knocked everything over. Okay, so here's that. Here's that. And then I want to put a disco ball on the bottom. Okay, so if you put your disco ball on the right side of the top, you want to do the opposite on the bottom. Again, it's all about balancing it out. So you want to go to the opposite side of what you did on the top. So I'm just switching mine over real quick. Oh, my little disco ball doesn't want to stay. Okay, so this isn't perfect. I'm going to have to mess with it just to get it how I like it. But I'm going to turn it around so you can get the full effect. But here you go. Little New Year's to your tray. It really didn't take that much. 3 pieces of greenery. Oh, and I sent these little things too, so you can tuck those in somewhere. I don't know where I'm going to tuck them. You can probably lay one across the bottom here. And if you have a smaller one, maybe tuck it in up here. Just to lay right there. I think there's 2 or 3 of the little blower things too. So it's really easy to make your tray look really full with not a lot of stuff. So there it is, guys. Tomorrow I'll share a picture of it all finished and like done right once I critique it a little bit, make it how it needs to go, so you can see it better. If anybody ends up having any questions that watches the replay, I'll always go back and answer them. And if you are a quarterly tiered tray box person and you have any troubles or you need help with anything, I'm always here to help. So any questions or anything like that, just let me know. All right, guys, have a good night and hope you all have a happy New Year's tomorrow. Thanks.